Hello and welcome to this very special edition of The Last Tackle. It's the semi-finals of the Betfred Challenge Cup. All 4 games are live on the BBC, and we've got 2 of the BBC team in the studio. We've got Danika, Priim and Kevin Brown. Thanks for coming in. How excited are we?
Oh, it's my favourite time of the year. It's my favourite part of the competition, and I'm super excited. And for the girls as well, Wembley. That's still...
Second year. It was brilliant last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think we're still building on that, so it's still exciting. Wembley's the final, so it makes it even more important that the girls get there, and it's such a big occasion now for them that, it gets me really giddy. Really giddy.
Yeah, no, mate, fair play to RFL, double headers, and then obviously both finals at Wembley.
Yeah, and there's so much to play for this weekend. I keep flipping to and fro who's going to win the games. You could make an argument for all 4 of the men's team and all 4 of the women's team. We were just having a chat about Leeds and Wigan, the women, and Danika thinks it's going to be an easy one, but I'm not too sure. So it's going to be so exciting.
We'll save it. Let's talk about the first semi-final. It all kicks off on Saturday morning in Doncaster.
It's a Betfred Challenge Cup semi-final.
There is just one place left at Wembley.
Tiptoes down the touchline. What a beautiful try from St Helens. Has Renouf got the legs? Will she outkick Tyra Jones? Yes, she will.
Lewis, they've got it right to senior. What a move from Rovers. Field, he sprints to the line. Field with the dummy. What a try that is. Sheffield.
And Fair Gaskin gets the drop goal. But it's St Helens who are the first team through to the Challenge Cup final.
Schneider waits for the chance. Schneider sends it on its way. And it's for Wembley. Tonka against Wigan.
And it's the cup holders, St Helens against York Valkyrie.
Expect the unexpected. We're at the Eco Power Arena in Doncaster on Saturday. It's nearly a sellout as well, nearly a 15,000 sellout, which is great news. And it kicks off 11:15, St Helens women versus York, which is a repeat of last year's semi-final. St Helens won it 17-16. Are we going to get the same drama this year?
Oh, absolutely. We saw the girls meet in the league just a few weeks ago. The first half, York kind of ran away with it, but the second half, I think there was 2 points in it. So it's going to be a similar contest. Both have picked up a few niggles. Both are doing a little bit tough with people out at the minute, but that makes it all the more exciting, doesn't it? You know, it just shows you, it just goes to show like they've got to test the strength and the depth. But it is for me the slightly harder of the 2 semi-finals. Thank you, Kev. And it's the one to really watch. And yeah, York want that revenge. York want to get to Wembley. Heartbreaking to miss out on being the first people there. They want a taste of that glory as well. And
obviously St Helens have had a taste and want to go back.
Yeah, well, they're the ones that they've got back-to-back Challenge Cups now. So they want to keep that role going, and in true St Helens fashion, you know, they want to keep that role. But, you know, it's going to be... St Helens looked a little bit rocky in the start of the season, but it was the first game. They've had a few since then. York have had the slightly harder challenges, so it's going to be who comes out the blocks. It's going to be that first half that's really going to test who's got it.
Kev?
Yeah, I think York want to bounce back from a defeat at the weekend, and Clint Goodchild, you just hope that one of his teams, they've already lost in the semi-final in the 1895, and you know, he's put a lot and invested a lot in the Valkyrie, so we'll be hoping that Ebony Partington, can be, do the damage against her old team and get the team to Wembley.
Well, let's get some build-up from both camps. Let's say from St Helens, Jodie Cunningham, and York head coach, Lindsay Anfield.
Yeah, I think getting to finals, being part of big moments, that's what gels you as a team there. It's the reason you play, it's the memories you make with the people that you love and that you put your body on the line for week in, week out. And we've got a couple of new members of the team who either haven't been part of Challenge Cup finals before or weren't part of Wembley, and we want to do it for them. We know how good it was. So those players, like Barry Silly here, who's come across, brilliant young player. You know, I want to see her run out of Wembley, and you know, as a team, we want to do it for each other. So definitely think the fact that we've done it before and we know how good it feels means that we're even more willing to do the hard work to get there for each other again.
To watch Leeds and Saints run out of Wembley and us not being there, missing out by 1 point was absolutely gutting. And you know, the girls still talk about it now, how disappointing it was. So yeah, we'll do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again.
And when you kind of think about the journey and the progress that you guys have been on, this is sort of the one that has got away so far, isn't it? Obviously got over the line in the Super League Grand Final last year. Does that feel like the final piece of the puzzle?
Yeah, potentially it does. Yeah, you know, we're quite a new side and quite a new club in the women's game. But you know, to run out at Wembley and lift a Challenge Cup final is, you know, it's got to be on the club's register and also of all the players as well.
Let's talk St Helens first of all. We just heard from Jodie Cunningham. She said it's all about making memories.
It is. You know, it's Wembley. Wembley's a memory. Like Kev will talk about it. His son's going to be there. Wembley's a memory for the fans and the players. It's a huge occasion. But Jodie's right, they've got a few new signings there as of York. So some girls have had a taste of it, but wouldn't it be bittersweet, you know, or even sweeter just to get the second time in a row at Wembley? Yeah, it's going to be huge.
York obviously missed out last year, losing the semi-final 17-16, missed out on Wembley, but did win the grand final, of course. What a job they've done at York and women's rugby.
Massive, and you know, Kev's already talked about Clint Goodchild and how he's turned that club around. Every single person that's involved in the club, the sponsors, the fans, the staff, are backing the women just as much as they do the men, which is probably one of the only clubs that you really see. There's tasters everywhere. Sinead Peach, congratulations, she's going to have a baby, which meant there's been a huge opening. The reigning woman of steel. Remy Wilton from the Canberra Raiders, NRLW, has come and stepped in. She's more union by trade, but she's got some big boots to fill. But I think for York, they've been building the blocks for years now, for seasons to come, and I think they're the only ones in that top flight that haven't got their hands on the Challenge Cup yet.
Can you predict, Ben, the first semi-final live on the BBC on Saturday? You're working on it as well, aren't you?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to call that. My heart wants York just to go down to Wembley and try it. My head, unless York can pick up from the performance last week at the weekend, Saints might just have that confidence to go through and do it. But York, I'd like to.
I think York, I do. I think, you know, Saints are a little bit busted, and York, off the back of a defeat, I think it'll give them the right mind frame this week going into a massive game. It was a very close game, and that's what you want. You want an arm wrestle, a really tough game. You know, they got beat by Leeds at the weekend, but I think they'll have enough in the team to get to Wembley this time.
Right then. That's the first semi-final. Kicks off at 11:15. Then at 1:45, Hull KR versus Wigan in a men's game. This is a repeat of a semi-final last year as well. That was really dramatic. 11-10 with the Hull KR going through. Whew, it's another mouthwatering tie, isn't it?
It is, and if you'd have asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd have said Hull KR are my favourites off the back of the absolute pasting that they dished out to Wigan over at the Hull Stadium. I thought Niall Evans and Peterica in particular, they couldn't cope with them, you know, the Wigan team. And I've never seen Liam Farrell miss as many tackles. I've never seen him miss one tackle. And
he got run over as well, didn't he?
The way he got run over, I think, is probably the worst thing that Hull KR could have done, because they've almost poked the bear. They poked the bear, and Wigan's response this week was incredible against Huddersfield. And Hull KR dipped a little bit. I thought, you know, at the start, that right edge got terrorised by Warrington's left. So they've got a bit of a fix-up this week. I think Wigan will be too good. I think Bevan French is in red-hot form. But Hull KR, if Mikey Lewis can get his hands on the ball and stamp his authority on the game, we saw what could happen last year with Brad Snyder's heroics at the end of the game.
We've heard from Mikey Lewis. Let's hear from Hull KR star man.
It's really exciting, you know, to get back here again 2 years in a row, maybe 3 now. Yeah, it's really exciting for us boys. You know, we're a good group, and you know we've worked hard for this. So yeah, come Saturday we'll be raring to go, and you know, hopefully get there again, 80 minutes away.
As a club, as a team, it feels like you've been on a real kind of upward trajectory in the last 12, 18 months. Is silverware the next step for this group?
Yeah, 100%. You know, we don't really speak about it that much. We spoke about it in pre-season briefly, but you know, we got to let her do her actions, do the talking. So it's all right saying, you know, we want to win it, win silverware, but you know, if your actions aren't there, then you won't. So yeah, it's all about actions with our group, and you know, being us.
As you've kind of grown into this side, grown in kind of, I guess, prominence into this team, does that add a little bit of extra pressure for you as a halfback, or does your job stay very much the same?
Yeah, there's a little bit more pressure, but it stays the same at the same time. I'm really enjoying that challenge, what Willie sets me every week. So, you know, I've just got to keep improving and, you know, week by week, and, you know, come Saturday, I'll hopefully bring my best out.
Mikey Lewis, how good is he to watch?
Well, he's one of the best to watch. He must be an absolute nightmare to play against, because sometimes I think Mikey Lewis doesn't know what he's going to do himself, and that means the defences don't know what.
But you're saying that in a positive way, of course, yeah.
In a real respectful, positive way. He is a player that has got X factor, and he's got speed, he's got bravery, he's strong, and he can pass and kick too. So he's got all the options, and he's not afraid. The bravery is the big thing, because he's not afraid to try things. Even when it goes wrong, he'll do something again. At Warrington, they had a tough night. He tried to put a kick in and it bounced up, and then as soon as there's a bit of a break in the defence, he just makes people look stupid. So Wigan will be prepping for him, but Matty Pete's got a tough job, because, like I say, he's very difficult to prep and defend against, because he changes his way he plays all the time.
But it's funny, because of that Wigan, the Hull KR Wigan game I was at, and Wigan obviously made a beeline for him, and he got hit off the ball about 3 or 4 times, massive hits. He bounced up, he laughed, the crowd laughed, that gave him that extra spur. The thing about Mikey Lewis is he's got the skill, he's got the ability, but he's also got this character that you want to see more of in the game. And it's a little bit of the boy you love to hate, or hate to love. You know, it was either way around, but I think that his sheer determination, his resilience as well, and he knows he's going to be targeted, and he thrives off that.
What about Hull KR? Obviously beaten finalists last year against Lee. He's just said silverware needs to be the next step. Because we keep talking about how good Hull KR are. You know, it's been a long time since they won the Challenge Cup, 1980, when it beat Hull 10-5.
Yeah, well, I think if Hull KR can win on Saturday, they will go on and win the Challenge Cup. Because I think they take...
Build on experience from last year.
Yeah, and I think, like Kev mentioned, they've had a little dip in the last couple of weeks in how they've performed. And they're going to go one of two ways. They're going to carry on and try and figure out what's going on and not make it, or Willie Peters is going to work his magic this week, and they're going to come out of the blocks firing. And I think, but, you know, Willie Peters is doing a great job there, isn't he? They've just signed him. You know, they know how good he is.
Club on the up as well.
Yeah, you know, the signings they've made for next season already, how he's, you know, progressing players. He's not scared to move people around out of position and see how, and it's worked for him. You know, so, yeah, it's about time, isn't it, they finally got some silverware.
Could they have dipped in the last couple of weeks, because we're looking ahead to this? It's hard as a player, isn't it? I know you take one game at a time, that's what you say in the interview, but it's hard as a player when you know you've got a semi-final coming up.
Yeah, completely. This game would have been ring-fenced and circled in everyone's diary, all the players, and even if they've talked about, you know, focusing on Warrington away, you don't want to get injured for the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. It's a huge, huge game. I have no worries that they're going to perform. I think Willie Peters, the great news that he's re-signed for a number of years to come, I think just gives them that stability. And their natural progression now is to lift the trophy. They've done everything else. They've played in finals. They've beat the big sides. They need to. They are a big club now, make no mistake about it. But to be classed as one of the biggest clubs, they've got to win a trophy. And this year, I think, is as good a time as any for them to break that duck.
Let's talk about Wigan then. Obviously, Hull KR beat Wigan in round 9, but for me, Wigan have been the best team this season.
Oh, by far, and they're on the signings they've got. We're looking at a 3 or 4 year Wigan team here that are going to go on and do great things. The dip that they had at KR the other week was really uncharacteristic. You know, Mike Pete was the first one to put his hand up and just say the errors were all quite minor in the sense that they're easily fixable, they're just uncharacteristic, dropping balls, being run over. But they're going to be tough to stop. You know, they've got the heartache from last year of not making it. They want to get that extra trophy. They want to get all of them in their locker, don't they? And this is the time to do it for him and to build on that. So I reckon they're going to come out a different kind of squad, and it's going to make it really tough for Hull KR.
Well, let's hear from the Wigan coach, Matty Pete.
You'd certainly rather winning than losing. We were well beaten at Hull KR, no doubt about that. And we've shown some signs of improvement since then, but I think we'll have to improve again to beat a quality Hull KR team. You know, there's we're building as a team at the moment, and yeah, I think we'll need to do. Like I say, I think we'll need to improve further.
Plenty of tries scored on Saturday in Huddersfield. It looked like your team was starting to click and find that rhythm that they found last season when they went on that unbeaten run. Is that something that you want to be seeing? Do you feel like you're getting there?
To be honest, I feel like that game, you know, the scoreline probably doesn't reflect just how close it was for long periods, and during the times when it was tight, you know, there was plenty we couldn't do better than that. So I'm looking more at the first half than the second, to be honest, and I know the team will be the same.
Looking back to the Challenge Cups at this stage last year, obviously going to Headingley and having to face OKR again, red cards, big tackles, but a few tries and a drop goal that ended it. Is that something that you remind the players of, to sort of say we don't let this happen again? Or is it,
No.
Is it a positive answer?
No, we just talk about trying to improve on last week, trying to find our best performance. You know, we know what our best performance looks like, and we know that there's things that can mess it up, which are in our control. So all the things we've learned, you know, as a group over the last few seasons, we try and take into each week, particularly these games where, you know, it's do or die, and the prize at the end is so fantastic.
Matty Pete there, Kev, he's just going to take it in his stride, isn't he? It's a big semi-final.
He is, and I think that's what he does. Yeah. He takes the pressure off his players because he has very little emotion when things are going great or things are, you know, they're never as bad as you see him. And Matty has that just pouring out of his persona, and I think what he's got is complete trust in his side. But Wigan, that last 40 minutes they've played was probably the best 40 minutes that I've seen any team play this year. And when you talk about players in form, they're almost telepathic now, Jay Field and Bevan French. Whenever one makes a break, the other one's popping up to finish the try off. And I think if they can replicate that, and gosh, if it could do it for 80 minutes, OKR are in for a tough test. But with Willie Peters, I think, you know, they'll know each other well. They've both been at that club before. Willie was a player at Wigan. He's done it already this season. He'll be going there confident. But it's going to be a great battle of the minds. I think two great young coaches, potentially two of the best young coaches in the world at the moment, going head to head. Prediction time, then.
Oh, again, head and heart. I want Hull KR to make it. But I think the form that Wigan are in at the minute, I think they're going to be hurting from that league loss as well. So I think it's going to be Wigan are just going to come out and want it more.
Yeah, I agree. I think the worst thing that possible happened for Hull KR was them dismantling Wigan like they did 2 weeks ago. I think Matty Pete will use that as his inspiration, and Wigan have just got a little bit more in that pack for me to get over Hull KR this weekend. So two cracking semi-finals on Saturday, and then Sunday we do it all again.
Going sideways, and Nagama wrestles his way through, and Kev Nagama took full advantage. He's got Dusty, Hewlis doesn't need the support, he's gone all the way himself. It's a Betfred Challenge Cups semi-final, and that's a richly deserved try. Incredible!
Here's Hardcastle now, looks at the step, there's half the gap there, she can exploit it if anybody can, she can! Thompson, can she get away through? She can't, but she can offload to Salihi, and Wigan hit back!
Knockout Rugby League, it's what we love.
Will it be Leeds Rhinos? Will it be Wigan Warriors?
So the BBC cameras are at Doncaster on Saturday, it's St Helens on Sunday, and it's a 12:30 kick-off for the Betfred Women's Challenge Cup semi-final, Wigan versus Leeds. Leeds were in the final last year of the Betfred Challenge Cup. Wigan, big improvers in the women's game. Right then, how do you see the second women's semi-final?
So like I said before, this is probably the slightly easier of the two.
Everyone's expecting Leeds to win, aren't they? But Wigan are definitely improved.
Look, Wigan are coming off an 102-0 win against Huddersfield Giants. So in terms of confidence, they're flying. Yeah. They've recruited really well. They've got their stalwart Vicky Molyneux back, their captain, their England superstar, who made a massive difference at the weekend. So Wigan are growing, you know, the investment from the club again, in everything they get in outside, you know, off the field, in training and everything behind it has only made them better. They're a lot fitter, a lot better athletes this year, which is going to be the deciding factor. Leeds have not really played them and seen them. They've only had easy tests so far. They've not been put under the cosh properly. So yeah, it could be a huge upset. It could, you know, Leeds only won it marginally last year, and although Leeds have gone to great signings, are doing really well, we're going to catching up at a rapid rate. So it could be. It's, you know.
You're convincing yourself now it's a Wigan win.
No. Oh. No, do you know what? The one thing I'll always do is I'll say when Leeds are bad, I'm not a problem.
Yeah.
But for always and forever, I want the girls to go and do it. But what I'm saying is,
what you're saying is at your old club, I've got quite a tough ask here because Wigan are improving.
Not to take it for granted,
Yeah.
and for everyone else not to take Wigan for granted this year.
It's the Challenge Cup, isn't it? That's what the beauty of the sport and the beauty of the Challenge Cup is all about. You see massive underdogs winning the game, and what I will say is Dennis Betts is probably one of the most decorated Challenge Cup winners. I don't know how many trophies he has got. It's 7 or 8. So he's been there and done it before. He knows how to build a big game up. Again, talk about Matty Pete, he'll know how to take the pressure off the girls going into that game. And I think it's almost a free hit because everyone, like you, Danika, me included, think Leeds are that good, they've got that much talent. But there's more to it than just walking through the team.
It would be the upset of the season, probably the decade for the women's game if that happened. But in the women's game, we've not had many coaches that have played at Wembley, you know, not in the current format that it's got. Dennis Betts is somebody that won't be the cool, calm, collected kind of Willie Peters, Matty Pete version. He'll be using that passion, you know, the experience to G the girls up and be like, this is the end of 80 minutes. To go out there, equally Lois Forsell's meticulous, and her training this week will be, no doubt, by the book, you know, I's dotted, T's crossed, the lot.
Well, we can hear from Dennis Betts along with Caitlin Beavers.
Yeah, I think just with the occasion being at Wembley and last year were the first time, but now we keep building on the performances we can put out there and the skill and just show people why we deserve to be there. That's a big enough reason to get there. But like you said, last year were heartbreaking and it definitely took a lot out of my energy, but definitely wanting to get back there and showcase what we can do, and that last year were just a flunk. Wigan are a force to be reckoned with. We're not underestimating them whatsoever. They are a really tough side, and they're just a great set. With Dennis Betts coming in this season, you can already tell the impact that he's had on the girls. Talking to Anna Davis in England camp, she says the little 1%ers, they're all improving. They're making sure that they've got the fundamentals to be able to expand, and I think that's probably what they were missing in the last few years. So now they're doing that. You can totally see why they're getting the points on the board like they are. So we aren't underestimating them. We know that they're a real hard battle, and we're looking forward to the event.
We've got to concentrate on us at the moment. I think the focus that I've brought to the side is that it's about us getting better, about us being competitive. I think we've set our stall out this year to be as competitive as we possibly can. I looked at some of the stuff last year. I thought there was times when we had ability, we had talent, but we just didn't have any kind of edge to us. We just weren't competing in the really tough times in the game. I think so what I'm demanding of the girls now is just a little bit more competitive spirit. The scoreboard will take care of itself, but this is our first real test, and like I say, I'm running into probably the best team in the competition.
Dennis Betts playing it down a bit there, isn't he?
Do you know what? I think he opened it up perfectly. We're concentrating on us, which I think is what everyone else is not doing. Everyone else is doing the who, what, why, when. Leeds have got this. You've got, you know, the signings. The likes of the Amy Hardcastles and the Shona Hoyles aren't the big players anymore. It's the young ones coming through, and Dennis Betts has got a plethora of those girls that are coming through. So I think that was quite a cool, calm, collected, and quite honest. But actually, if you think about it, yeah, that is right. Concentrate on them, and the rest will do the work.
A lot of them young girls wouldn't have had this pressure before, would they? With Wembley looming, the dream that they've got. They've seen the girls before and play there. They know it's a realistic dream now. So for him to say we just need to concentrate on us, I think he'll take their focus off the occasion and just the distractions that potentially could make them play poor.
Come on then, predictions. You're obviously going for your old club.
I'm going for them because I obviously want them to get there, but I do think they'll have the edge. In the middles, they've recruited really well, and then if you've got Caitlin Beavers and Amy Harcos in your centres, you're fighting fit with little young Ruby Enright, who's filling in that full-back role phenomenally well. So, yeah. I'm going for it.
I really struggle to disagree. Caitlin Beavers is sensational. One of my favourite players to watch, the centre for Leeds. But I think Wigan will make a really good fist of this. I do. I think they'll try and throw the ball around. Vicky Molyneux was terrific, like Danika said before last weekend. I think she'll lead from the front. Have they got enough? I think it might be a year or two too soon for the Wigan young girls.
Right, so that's 12:30 Wigan Leeds. Then at 3:15 Huddersfield versus Warrington. They've not met each other so far this season. Let's hear from the new Warrington coach, Sam Burgess.
Sam, obviously the Challenge Cup, a competition that you started back in your Bradford days. How does it feel to return into it as a head coach this time?
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. We were in the semi-finals, so it's our third game in the competition, and we're back here at Totally Wicked Stadium where we played our last game in the competition. So we're making a bit of a second home in the Challenge Cup, so it's nice. But we're looking forward to the game on Sunday afternoon.
People will say being a coach is very difficult, but you find yourself in a semi-final and joint top of the league. So obviously, joint top is quite a different metric.
There's like half the league, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a few of you. So, how are you dealing with the success that you found, Sam?
Well, there's no real success yet. I mean, we've had a fairly competent start, I'd say. We've been good in some areas, but there's loads of areas we can still improve. So we're enjoying the challenge and the journey that we're on as a group. So. My first year of coaching, just enjoying it. We've got a great set of players, and we're really enjoying each other's company at the moment. I guess winning helps, but it'll be a good atmosphere and a good occasion to add to that on Sunday. For me, it's not about me anymore. Really, it's more about the players and them hitting a few achievements in their careers. For me as a coach, it'd be really nice, but we understand we've got a big challenge on Sunday. Huddersfield, barring the result on the weekend, have been in some good form. They've been playing pretty tight rugby, so we're going to have to be good to get the job done. So I'm not getting in front of it yet. I won't be drawn into the Wembley chat yet. We're just, you asked me about that when we're there. But for now, I guess the next challenge will be here on Sunday afternoon, and we're pretty excited for that.
He said it's not about him, but clearly we're going to talk about him. He's come in as coach. Warrington looks so much more confident.
Yeah, well, Kevin and I were just talking about it before. Look, Sam Burgess is still a young fella. He's finished his playing career. He's gone straight into
He's
coaching.
clearly enjoying it.
Yeah, he's absolutely loving it. And what he brings is the difference between the cool, calm, composed. He gets in there with amongst the lads. He knows how much it means. How great would it be in your first year of coaching to get to that Wembley final? This is a guy, that's played 78 minutes with a broken jaw. He's that passionate and that driven to do so well. So, yeah, it's not so much about him, it's about his team, but he's leading that from the forefront and being the coach. So, yeah, I think Warrington are just on a good run at the minute, give or take an odd result that they've had, but I think they're on good form going into the semi-final.
What difference has he made to Warrington, do you think?
I think the biggest difference he's made is a work ethic. They sort of know how to win when it's a close game, and you can't really say that for Warrington for a long time. And the transformation he's made with the short time he's been there in the 10 or 11 weeks at the start of the season is quite huge. The top of the table, he's got the fans on side believing. They definitely believe it's their year. And they're in the semi-finals too. And I think they go into this game favourites.
Yeah, they do.
I've got a lot of confidence in Sam. I've seen him, what he's like leading up to big games, big semi-finals, World Cup finals, and he was always one of the ones leading the group to get everything perfect, but keeping a lid on it too. And I think,
that comes across in that interview, doesn't it?
Yeah, it comes across how cool he is. He's been there and done it. It's not about him, but let me tell you, all them players being led by Sam Burgess feel an extra foot taller. They know that he's the man for the job, and I think he's doing a great job, and I think they've got a massive chance of going to Wembley this year.
Well, there's an experienced coach in the other camp. Let's hear from Huddersfield's Ian Watson.
Usually the special occasions, aren't they, being involved in semi-finals, finals, they're the games that you want to play for, what you work your whole career and all your life for, is to be involved in some of the biggest games and what you remember seeing when you was a kid on TV. So yeah, it's a special occasion for us individually and collectively as a team and as a whole club as well.
You've been involved in a few semis, playoffs, finals now. How do you as a coach kind of take little bits out of those experiences and feed them into kind of improving it?
Oh, I think they just mould you. They just mould you as kind of a coach. So when you come to these, it's kind of not new and it's kind of not nerve-wracking, and you're not putting nerves onto the players as you come in situations. People can stay kind of relaxed. You know, we've been there before, and we know we've handled them situations. So it's probably more the experience that helped just mould you a little bit more as a coach into handling certain situations better.
Where do you kind of put yourselves based on your season so far? Because some real ups, obviously some frustration in the last few weeks as well.
Yeah, I'd say on the whole we've been really, really pleased where we were. The last 2 weeks have probably been pretty tough for us, to be fair. The first half against Salford wasn't nowhere near our level of what we wanted to achieve, and then the second half we come out, we rectify that, and we're looking miles better again. And then the first half against Wigan, we're in there. They've scored a couple of tries against the kind of the run of the play, if you like, but then 20 minutes to go, we just kind of capitulated on there. So we've not kind of strung that kind of perfect 80 minutes together, if you like, which it's not always going to be perfect, but you can handle certain situations better than what we did in probably them 2 games, really, to make sure that we've got a chance of winning the games, maybe potentially at the back end of them.
Ian Watson, obviously very unlucky 2 years ago in that final at Tottenham.
Yeah, he's been very, very close a few times now, Ian Watson. Again, his hands on that trophy, and he knows how to get there.
2020 as well.
Yeah. You keep bringing that one on, man. But he's been so close. I think he were actually closer in the game against Wigan, where Liam Marshall scored at the end off Harry Smith's kick. I think that day will go down the one that got away. But this current Huddersfield squad, I'm sure it's a frustrating one, because he got the coach of the month last month, and then they've not won a game, and he refers to the fact that they've been good and bad and inconsistent, and I think if they bring that inconsistency, Sam and his team will exploit it. But with Huddersfield, I do think that they've got an 80-minute performance in them, and if they can bring that, I don't think they'll be far off.
Prediction time.
I just think that Warrington are too good at the minute. I think they've got the drive. We've not seen the consistency from Huddersfield to have the confidence going into this. There's elements, but I think from Warrington, they've just been more consistent, and I just think, like with the likes of Sam Burgess, leading from the front, I think they're the ones that are going to get there.
I agree. I think they've got too much speed on the edges in Thewlis and Ashton. And Ben Curry, I think if there's one thing that Sam's done, he's made his loose forward. He's changed Ben from a back rower to a loose forward. And for me, he's one of the form loose forwards in the comp. I think them 3 players will be the difference. And I think Warrington will get to Wembley.
We've run out of time. Thanks for your company. Let's just have a final word. How good is this weekend going to be? All the semi-finals live on the BBC. You're both working for the BBC. How good is this weekend going to be?
I said at the start, if I talk about it too much, I get too giddy. Even when I'm not playing anymore, it's massive. It's what everyone plays for. It's the Challenge Cup. It's probably one of the most prestigious trophies. So 80 minutes from Wembley. It's huge.
There's only one weekend that's better than this, and that's the final. But that's what makes this weekend so good, because you know as a player and as a fan how good that trip to London is. And they all want to get that. I can't wait to watch the games, because we've said who we think win, but every team...
Challenge Cup, who knows?
Every team's got a chance of getting to Wembley this weekend.
Well, there's loads of drama last year in the semi-finals. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the semi-finals of the Betfred Challenge Cup.